Good afternoon, curling fans. I am Eric Cole, coming to you live from Coyotes Curling Club in Tempe, Arizona, bringing you the Ed Werenich Golden Wrench Classic. We are currently in draw 11, and we have Team Campbell versus GRATTAN. GRATTAN currently sitting at 2-2, Campbell 0-4. First stone underway, just back of the tee line, and we are seeing how this game will shake loose. Team GRATTAN out of New Brunswick. Campbell right here out of Tempe, Arizona. Should be a good one, despite their 0-4 record. They had 3 close ones. First ever cash spiel for what we affectionately call the kids. All guys who've been curling for under 3 years. Taking on a few veterans that have been to the wrench more times than that. So should be a good game. Strong start here with a center guard and one behind it, and a corner guard from GRATTAN. And GRATTAN with the come around on the stone that was just back at the tee line in good position. Campbell calling for another come around to sit on top. As we get underway, it is worth mentioning that we are going to have the velvety tones of Sean Murray back momentarily. Just taking a little break in between games that is going a little longer than expected, but should be good to have his insight back to help with what we're trying to do. It is worth noting on the season, GRATTAN currently stands at 14-8. Pretty solid record. Anytime you're basically doubling up your wins to losses against fields of this nature. So look forward to see what they bring, especially having the playoffs in their grasp. So Team Campbell looking to put some pressure on, currently sitting 1, looking to draw another one in to sit 2. Doesn't quite get buried, but is a very good depth to try and hopefully not leave the double there for GRATTAN, but maybe a hit and just roll on top and get a corner freeze out of it and be dead buried under the guard if they roll too much, giving them some opportunity. It is probably worth noting in an event like this, Grattan playing with three people all weekend. They were also one of the few teams that came out and practiced Wednesday night when the ice was available, so getting in lots of reps. But being able to have two of your players throw an extra third stone could be a difference maker as far as ability to do that, but also fatigue coming into an event could be also an issue. So we'll see how this plays out. And a beautiful hit and roll there from Team Campbell. Grattan looking to do the run back. And as promised, the velvety tones of Sean Murray have returned.
I am back, and I have brought food for us. It's been a long day. We are hungry. So that was such an interesting game last draw. I don't know how this one's going to top it. We're going to have to see how it goes.
And the run back was executed almost, to a T there.
Okay.
So we're set up pretty good here for Grattan, who has hammer.
Not quite getting to where it needs to be. Still open for Grattan. Grattan playing three-handed by the looks of it.
Yes, they were here early, as I kind of mentioned before you joined us, Wednesday for practice, and have been playing 3 all weekend. So there's the advantage of throwing an extra stone.
Yep.
But there's the disadvantage of fatigue.
Yes.
In an event like this.
Definitely.
And 2-2, looking to get 3-2, you have a potential playoff push coming ahead of you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Darren Campbell's first shot. You can see most of this Grattan stone in the rings.
Yeah, they make it roll a half a stone good, but there's also something to be said if you roll open, try and get a force out of the first. But you got to stick around to make that happen.
Stick around, and I don't think that's sticking around.
As mentioned before you got here too, Sean, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this, especially based on that last result.
Yeah.
As we affectionately refer to them as the kids, because they've all been curling for 3 years or less.
Yes.
It seems like the tendency over the course of this weekend has been their hits have been a little upweight compared to what's necessarily needed. And if you were to bring that one down, you maybe stick around a little bit better.
Absolutely.
You have a better chance.
Yep. And that's not at all surprising that, playing in an event like this is for sure the first event like this that any of these guys have played in. They come into it really just to learn. They know they're not going to, certainly not going to win the event. It'll be tough to win a game. It's a good idea for them to come into events like this and games like this with realistic, achievable goals. And honestly, one of those goals could be let's not hit and roll out.
Yep.
When we make our hits, let's make sure we stay in the rings, and that's a matter of weight control. And of course, you're going to be throwing it a little harder because playing teams like this, you're going to be a little nervous. It's like, oh, I got to throw it harder to make sure I hit the shot. Well, yeah, you got to make the shot the right way.
Yeah, and I know that, they had some little baby goals coming into it. One of them was, to get Hammer, obviously, at the start of every game. Mm-hmm. They did that 2 of 5.
Yep, that's good.
So that's pretty good considering, the competition they're playing.
Absolutely.
They had a goal of, I think it was, stealing a point every game.
There you go.
Sure. Getting a deuce with Hammer. Just, on one end, right? Like, those are things that you can build off of and go from, right? Not to get a deuce every time you have Hammer, but let's just try and have some realistic expectations coming into an event. And
absolutely.
They've got the U5 they've qualified for U5 Nationals, which for those of you unfamiliar is people with 5 years of experience or less over the age of, I believe it's 18 or 21. But it's something new in the U.S. that's also gaining popularity elsewhere, where bringing adult curlers in who are just learning the game.
Yep.
So they're looking to take their game as high as they can at this stage in life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I had the pleasure of playing in a Thursday league with Skip Darren and third Josh, just to try and get them to. They asked me that, and we played together. Well, unfortunate result there from Darren, but they're looking to learn. They're sponges. They're really hungry to learn. From more experienced people to just get exposure to higher competition, and an event like this will certainly do that for them. So with a little bit of an error on Darren's last there, this is a draw to the paint for James Grattan to pick up an early 2.
So I do see we are up to 31 watching. Early in the draw. I know last game we peaked out around 85 or so with a couple of comments.
Something like that.
We asked a couple of questions to the crowd. We'll see if we can't come up with something to get a little interaction again.
Yeah. Feel free to post a message in the chat. One or both of us has eyes on it at any given time, as does our producer. I want to give a shout out to our producer in the background, Becky Horseman. She's helping to make sure the stream operates in the background. Basically, this is a pretty slick setup we have here at Coyotes Curling Club. All we got to worry about here at the club is making sure the mic is on and off when we don't need it. But Becky takes care of pretty much everything else behind the scenes, so big shout out to her. We appreciate her kind of taking care of the stuff on the back end and simplifying this for us here.
So actually, here's a question, because we were talking about these guys being U5.
Yeah.
As either a junior curler or somebody early in your curling career as an adult, wherever that classifies, leave in the comments, what was kind of like your first big or memorable win or experience?
That's a good one.
I still remember playing in my very first cash spiel years ago.
Sure.
And everything that came with it.
Yeah.
Some of those traveling, and then winning my first bonspiel and doing some different stuff. But yeah, I'd be curious to hear what people have to say.
Absolutely. I'm sure there's lots of stories.
Did you as a junior, did you beat somebody who went on to participate in the Brier or the Olympics, or you just
For sure.
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm sure there's lots of stories out there.
So a bit of a miscue there from Team Campbell, looking to put up a corner garden coming in deep, giving Grattan the opportunity just to simply hit it and then sit 2. And really providing an early force situation, which, you know, I don't know a team on the planet that isn't happy to trade 2-for-1s. Other games on the ice right now on Sheet A, which is Pool B, we have Schuster at 4-0 against King, who is 3-1. Sheet B, we have Kultoff, who's 3-1, versus Camo at 2-2. Our feature sheet, Grattan 2-2 versus Campbell, who's 0-4. And on D, we have Epping, who is 3-1, versus Sampson, who is 2-2. We will be providing some live updates as we go. And scores are also available on curlingzone.com.
Team Campbell in some early heat here.
Yeah, definitely a temp check.
Yeah. They've got some work to do to try and manufacture 2. No guards. Grattan sitting 3.
You know, we were talking about their goals earlier, and I know one of their goals was to go 8 ends. It is tough to do.
Yes.
When you're constantly kind of clawing for one. Yeah, yes. Constantly chasing.
Mm-hmm. Because a lot of times in that claw for one, I mean, you eventually get it, but then you think, well, I'm down a bunch, I got to steal. You end up leaving a whole bunch of opponent rocks around.
Well, a very nice double there.
Absolutely. Jared Kiesler, good one.
Yeah, leaving them shot rock. And
yeah.
Thank you, Ken, for the kind comments in the chat there. Based on your last name, I have a feeling I know who you're cheering for, but if you're of relation, be curious to know. Brother, dad, cousin. Happy to find out.
Jared then trying to hit and roll of some sort, just catches a piece and slides right on by.
Yeah, the body language after that one was not something you want to see if, this early in the game.
Yes. I think at this point, Grattan's content to just keep stacking rocks in the rings, though this one sliding behind the tee line is probably not quite where he wanted it.
Yeah, that could probably be the bailout shot for Campbell, right?
It's going to give them something. You're down 2, you got to think about manufacturing 2 of your own.
Yeah, and I'm not necessarily a fan of hitting this. I mean, it's barely biting the 8 foot. I think you're better off of even almost trying to come around it.
You are better off trying to come around it because you're trying to generate offense. You're not going to generate offense by playing, 10-foot hit and rolls.
So they do decide on the hit and roll. Honestly, executed pretty good, I would say, like a 7 out of 10. Bumped that other Yellowstone back a little, rolled up.
Yeah, decent shot.
You're sitting second shot with a potential jam if they decide to make a play on it. Where I think, if you're James, maybe just throw another one into the 8-foot. Just a thought.
He'll probably just try and take a rip at this.
Yeah. And if you lose the one in the back, so be it.
So what? Exactly.
Yep. You're still going to sit 2. We do know on sheet D that Epping in the first end hung a crooked number, but what we don't know is how many it was, as it has yet to be posted on the scoreboard by the teams. But we will get you live updates here in just a moment on scores across the sheets. And honestly, at this point now with that, it's maybe setting up more for a blank, which honestly is to probably Campbell's advantage, give him an opportunity to...
Yeah. I mean, let's see. This one needs to be in the rings.
Yep.
Darren's still got his 2 shots to go. He's probably going to have to try and see if he can get a mistake out of Grattan. Maybe come down to this one that's been the back 8-foot with his first when the time comes. We have to see where this one ends up.
And that's probably about as flat as you can make them.
Yeah, there's definitely no double on those. With that in mind, I don't know why you'd ever hit this.
Yeah, just come down and sit on top
Just
of it.
sit in front of it. You're never blank from this end.
Not with a shot like that.
I mean, you get in front of it, even if James is able to blast it out of there, you might still get a blank chance. And looks like he hurt us. This is ice for a draw.
Glad somebody listens to us because I know it doesn't happen at home.
True enough.
Interesting to see here, real quick, and if we could have gone back and looked, but the amount of ice they're taking compared. This looks to be considerably more.
Yeah, and that's not surprising. I mean, one of the things that a 500 team is not going to have a lot of chances to do is play on an ice with a lot of swing, and so their releases are going to be a little bit softer compared to a lot of teams, and so they're going to curl more. And this one's just a little bit heavy, but still, it just about got there. And that's just the difference. Most of the teams at this level will throw with much more of a positive finish. It'll spin more. It'll run straighter.
Yeah, you're trying to impact that break point.
Exactly.
Delay it as much as you can.
That's right, and also make it run a little more predictably. A stone that's not rotating as fast could turn sooner, die faster, all that stuff. Final stone, James Grattan in the second end for him. Just going to clear this red out of here.
Yep.
He's already got the force in play.
Now, I'm curious to see, and I know what the answer is supposed to be. And looking at where they tap, okay, well, there's the discussion. Do you come down to it, or do you just draw to the 4 foot?
And the correct answer is...
You just draw to the 4 foot.
Exactly.
And it looks like that's what they're deciding to do, but the discussion at least crossed their mind.
Mm-hmm. And one of the reasons you don't play down to backing is then it gets in your head. You start thinking, well, I have backing, I can be heavy. Then you throw it heavy, and then it runs. And it doesn't curl as much, it never gets to the backing. So in a situation like this, all you are doing is drawing the 4 foot. There's nothing else happening.
This is a little bit of a gut check for, you gave up 2, you have a chance at 1.
Yep, it's just a draw to the 4 foot, and that's even for veteran players, that can be a little tricky. Paige and Jared going hard on this. Gotta get it there. Going hard. I think it's close.
Yeah, no, this is
nice sweep.
Real
there.
Nice. Yeah, great sweep, great weight, and
great draw. Great team shot.
Yep.
Team shot.
Now we'll see what the setup looks like coming back in the third.
Yeah, I mean, down 1 without, conventional wisdom says to, maybe put a guard up so you can get a force.
So I did notice we have a fair number of people from New Brunswick watching. Obviously, I'm assuming Team Grattan fans or supporters.
I would imagine so.
What's going on in New Brunswick today? Let us know in the chat. What are you doing this evening? Other than watching curling on YouTube.
I imagine it's probably kind of cold, so probably there might not be much else to do. But having never been to New Brunswick myself, I'd be interested to know.
Yeah, I believe it's pretty coastal. I don't know how cold it actually is.
That's fair.
It's a maritime province.
Things I don't know.
Yeah. And a beautiful center guard there. Biting the center line. So they can't play the tick, which we talked about last draw. And James and company looking to come around top 8, which you're seeing more and more teams do the last few seasons since the no-tick rule has been put into place.
Well, they have to.
Yeah.
They absolutely have to. Yeah, I kind of wonder what would happen if suddenly the no-tick rule went away briefly. Would all of those leads that got super proficient at it remember how to do it?
Paige Peterson, interesting fella, lead for the Team Campbell. Spent most of his working career between the Arizona Diamondbacks and Phoenix Suns, and is now recently taken a new role with another company, but has a World Series ring from the Diamondbacks.
Oh my!
Yeah, so pretty interesting career. Spent some time with, I believe it was Edward Jones prior to that, and
Okay.
yeah, both his sons curl. One's a golfer in Florida, doesn't curl as much as his other son.
Okay.
So yeah.
And super enthusiastic about the game.
All
Paige
four
has-
of them.
all four of them are just really taken to it, and as I think I've said already once, that they're all just sponges. They just want to soak up as much as they can. Really trying to stretch their game here by even signing up for this event. So a couple of score updates from around the sheets. John Schuster opened their game against Jaden King with a 4-ender, so they lead 4-0. The first end between Kaltoff and Camo was a blank. Kaltoff with hammer. And John Epping is up 3-0 over Ethan Sampson playing the third end with a score of 2 in the first end and then a steal of 1 in the second.
Now it's somewhat decision time, I think, right?
Yeah, I mean, Campbell is sitting shot back there just barely. I don't know where to put this.
Do you like the call of cornering on this?
I like it if it's made perfectly. But there's a lot of ways in this could go wrong. If it ends up bouncing off just a little bit, it could be really bad because then Grattan could have a double to sit 3.
And that was my concern in asking the question.
Yeah. You could definitely make an argument for just throwing a guard. You could also make a play on second shot.
That was what my kind of gut was telling me, because then you might be able to roll over in front of your stone anyway, a little, depending.
Yeah, the thing to think about is, Jared did pretty good.
Yeah, that's about as good as you can make it.
The thing to consider is that, down 1 without doesn't mean you have to steal. It just means you really want to try and force. Letting the team have 1 is totally fine, and you get the hammer back. The freeze it was a little bit of a risky call, but well played. So they're in a decent position right now to likely set up the force. There's still a lot of stones to go, of course. Jamming and leaving that Campbell guard out front, so Campbell sizing up, maybe now making a play on second shot.
So Jerry just informed us it's 32 degrees in New Brunswick. So plenty warm for a fair number of activities, I guess.
Yeah.
Should you choose to do something.
Absolutely.
So we've already put a couple of questions out to the audience, but Sean, I got one for you.
Oh, dear. Okay.
Provincial flags. What's your favorite one?
Ooh.
Because the New Brunswick one's got a little personality to it with the ship and
A
the
little
whole,
personality.
Right?
It's got a lot
yeah.
of personality.
Yeah.
Let me think. Okay, you got Newfoundland. New Brunswick is pretty cool. I do like the British Columbia flag, I won't lie.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The sunrise over the Union Jack is nice. That one's probably pretty high for me, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always kind of liked, it was funny, the Newfoundland, I don't know how old the flag is or never got a redesign.
Yeah.
But it always seemed very modern to me even years ago, right?
Yes.
Like, and I know there's a story behind it with like a sword and a stone or something.
Would not know.
I'm from Minnesota, not Canada, so I apologize if I got the story wrong. But it always just kind of looked honestly a little progressive for what it,
No.
like more of a modern design, so.
Sure.
I kind of like it.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because I see it so much with Gushu.
That's very possible. Huh? Not quite able to hold the shooter is Team Campbell, and that's going to leave Campbell sitting just one, back 4 foot. Decent shot, honestly. The Grattan's going to be a little tough to get rid of.
Yeah, I don't know if you need to get rid of it versus just coming down or even a little tap. You might set up another jam.
Yeah, I mean, you could just play a freeze on it. You could ignore it and go right around the guard if you wanted to.
Yep.
But I don't think the hit is the wrong call.
No,
It's
you have options.
not a fantastic steal setup right now. I think if you just focus on not giving up another 2, that's a decent way to go.
Yeah, right. Force one, get your deuce, and now it's
Exactly.
tie game after 4, and you've got 4 to play.
Absolutely.
I dig it.
Darren Campbell, first stone on its way. So now this is going to be a bit of a hit and roll. Pretty good shot, honestly. I mean, not sure if that's what they were trying. They did leave the Grattan stone back 8 foot second shot, but that red Campbell stone is pretty well lost under the guard. we'll see if James can get enough curl out of this one to try and make a play on that red. Try and push it back sitting too. He's probably not going to go too hard for it. It'd be okay if he came down and was at least shot rock. That would almost guarantee him at least scoring this end. Hard to get by. This looks like it's wrecked. This is all over the guard. Does however get the guard out of the way so it exposes that Campbell stone.
And Campbell discussing, instead of putting up another guard, drawing another one in top 4, which...
It's fine if you put it in the right spot, but it could easily end up being the wrong spot.
Yep. Now looking a bit higher, which... I think I personally, you know what, hey, let's make that port as small as possible myself.
Yeah, you could just throw one right in the port, absolutely. And then James has an out-turn draw to the button, not an easy one.
And again, we talked, the force isn't bad.
Yeah, force isn't bad.
Force is good.
But if you could ever draw under that guard and sit top 4, top button right into that guard, that would be a really good spot too.
Oh, absolutely.
So.
Looked like they probably had a little team discussion, probably more so about just filling in everybody. Hey, here's plan B. Here's what we want to do. You know, just to make sure everybody's on the same page. Again, communication being so important to new curlers, right?
And that's something that these guys have worked on really, really hard is communicating well, making sure they're all on the same page, not being afraid to have open, honest conversations about, you know, what they're doing, what's the range, or as I've been saying, all weekend tolerance.
Yep. That is
pretty good result.
Really good result.
I don't think James has much left but a out-turn draw to bite the side of the button for one. I mean, I guess if he was really felt like being fancy, he could try slashing that corner in, try to get 2 that way. Is he playing that? No.
He's looking at it.
No. I wasn't entirely serious, James. Okay. Well.
But it is for 2.
Sure, yeah.
And if you give up a steal of 1,
if you give up a steal of 1, tie game 4th end with hammer.
Yep.
So what?
No, yeah.
Okay.
I
mean, I guess you look at it this way. You've got a really tough shot to score 1.
Yep.
You got a really tough shot to score 2. Why not try the one that has the better outcome?
Yep. And even if something happens where you wick and roll off or whatever, and you roll out,
yeah,
you still probably get your 1.
You
with
still
the one
score 1. Yeah.
Yep.
If you make contact with the red, you're scoring. So yeah. So way out here in the weeds, I imagine this will have a little bit of weight on it. It's not a bomber. No, over curl, not going to get there. So that's going to be a well-earned steal of 1 for Team Campbell, and they tie this game at 2 each.
And again, like we talked about, little goals.
Absolutely. And I would say, you know, against the caliber of teams you come against at an event like this, that is an achievable goal. Get a steal.
Yep.
And mission accomplished. So
yeah.
that is an achievement for sure for these guys.
And after this evening, we have 2 more draws to round out pool play. We have a 5 o'clock that's probably going to be close to on time, and then an 8 p.m. as well. Correct?
Yes.
Nice. And then after that, the dust will be settled, and we will have the playoff picture for Sunday curling action.
Absolutely. No tiebreakers at this event. It's all based on head-to-head, and if necessary, draw shot challenge.
And we've seen a fair number of zeros this weekend. With the little asterisk, we did not triangulate. It was just if it covers the pin, it's a 0.
Okay. Paige Peterson with his second shot of this end, looking for the freeze. Like it's going to be a little bit short, but not in a bad spot. Just gets to the top 12 foot. Grattan decides he wants to go corner freeze. You could also make an argument for just going like backside of the 8 foot somewhere, sit 2. Keep things spread apart. This one looking a fair bit heavy. Goes right by the 12-foot stone. That does sit 2, but not really sure that was the desired result.
Yeah, now you hit and you roll onto the corner of this, and you're behind 2 other stones or half partially buried. And
yep. You could maybe, and you're probably not removing this one from the shot rock from play, but you could at least push it out in the open.
Yep.
Maybe hit it later. Decent result on that. That's not bad at all. We would have liked to hit that first one a little thicker so they didn't spin so much behind the tee line, but still push that buried shot rock open. That's a decent result there.
Yeah, and it's tough to see in the waters, but there's a red in the 12 foot, and then you got another center guard, so you loop something around.
Yeah, it's a decent setup right now. It's not bad for Team Campbell at this moment.
And James recognizing that and saying, "Hey, you know what? Feels like a little bit of a trap."
Yeah, this is really not a great setup for me, so I'm going to get rid of this thing.
So just the straight peel.
Yeah.
Yep.
The stone did stay around kind of way over on the side of the 12. Not really sure it's going to be a factor.
I was once told, or stones like that, or kind of some of those high guards and just oddly placed stones. Somebody I played against a guy, he called them gators. And
Really?
So they'll come back to bite you.
They will. That's for sure. Oh dear. Oh, goodness gracious.
Unforced error.
Yeah, Jared's not going to be happy with that one.
You know, and we've discussed tolerances, you know, over the course of all weekend. Hitting and rolling out, or nosing versus getting the roll, is the tolerance versus what just happened.
That's right. That's right. Making sure the hit.
You know, and taking your own out in the back that's just salt in the wound.
That's not fantastic.
Yeah.
Feel pretty bad after that.
You know, and this just instantly brings a deuce back into play.
Yep, just like that. Just like that. At this level especially, just one little mistake can completely flip the progress of an end, and definitely from where 2 was nothing, 2 is probably likely. And now this gator, as you describe it, is maybe going to come into play. Josh Bernstein with his first shot at the end, looking for the nose double. Close. Oh, overswept a little bit. Just jams it. What Grattan wants to do is sitting 1. He could just ignore that. But gonna opt to hit. Probably need to roll just a little bit towards the center to be sitting 2.
I was just gonna say that. I think he's got to roll a little bit, half stone, quarter stone, just to make sure he's biting the rings.
Mm-hmm. Mistake there. Now just get it way over to the side. Get as much separation as possible. Good shot.
Not gonna lie, I had that sandwich. Thank you. Ready for a nap.
Right?
That was good.
I'm ready to crash out for a bit. No question.
Hopefully our viewers are watching and not doing what I just described.
Some of them might be, and that's okay. It's a Saturday afternoon. It's the weekend. It's meant for relaxing. A quick score update. John Schuster in full control of his game against Jaden King. Now leads 7-1 after 3 ends.
Definitely full control.
Dustin Kaltoff gets 2 in the second and leads Rene Como 2-0. Of course, our feature game 2-all. John Epping has a 3-2 lead over Ethan Sampson. Epping with the hammer in the 4th end.
I believe, I would need to take a closer look, but I believe that's a win and in, because Epping is 3-1 and Sampson is 2-2. But if Sampson were to win, they would both be at 3-2, but Sampson would have the head-to-head.
And that depends on then if anyone else in their pool would be 3-2.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to see how it all shakes out. Well, so if Sampson were to win that game, he'd have 2 losses. Grattan wins this game, they'd be at 2 losses. Well, it could really be a mess.
Yeah.
The perfect storm scenario, because sheets B, C, and D are all Pool A games. If Kaltoff beats Como and Grattan wins this game and Sampson beats Epping, there's going to be a 5-way tie at 3-2 in that pool. Obviously, head-to-head is... I feel like you probably start as best you can with head-to-head, but I really don't know how it's going to resolve among 5 teams. it might have to strictly go to draw shot if it's that many teams.
Yeah, and I know it's in the rules, but
Yeah.
that's
Quite a mess. That is quite a mess. Then on the other side, if Kalthoff wins their game and Epping wins their game, they're both at 4-1. They're both in, and there you go.
Yep.
James Grattan's first here. Fourth end, sitting one already. Just trying to split the rings and sit two. No mistake there. Campbell really with no other options here, but just hit and concede the two. Might be talking about maybe trying to roll a bit somewhere and change the
I
change
think
the line,
primary
but
objective is just you got to get rid of it.
You just get rid of one.
Yep.
I mean, at this point, you just got to take your medicine. You know, concede the two. Don't make it worse. Well done. You can't really do any better than that. So basically, hit and sit shot. You know, and yes, Grattan's got an open hit for two, but you never know. It might roll out. I mean, anything's possible. You've done all you can. Panic there. Needs to sit, but will sit just in time. Good enough for Grattan to pick up 2 points and reclaim lead at 4-2 over Darren Campbell. Fifth end, Campbell will have the hammer.
Good pace on this game.
Yeah, the teams are definitely not wasting any time. That's good to see.
You know, we've done enough of these where some of them just seem to, we'll be candid, drag.
Yeah.
Lot of discussion on, you know, lead stones and second stones and third stones
just conferences every 3 minutes about what are we doing, and just, you know,
good to see them just go out here and play.
Just call shots, you know. Trust your first instincts and go with it. There are definitely some players out there that are, shall we say, deliberate.
Yeah.
And can get rather painful at times. But no, these two teams are really not wasting any time. They're just getting right to it. So with the lead, Team Grattan throwing that first one in the rings. See Paige Peterson look to set up the corner guard.
Yeah, that first stone, that's what I like to call the in the area play.
Yep.
Just
Yeah, I mean,
above the tee line, near
above
the center line.
Yes.
In the area.
Yes. I mean, there's definitely a specific spot that is best, but at least somewhere reasonably close to that is what you're looking for. It's not one of those shots that requires, laser precision.
And here's a tip for all you leads out there, something I've learned over the years. You can't miss the broom if you throw it before it's down.
That explains a lot, I gotta tell you. Now,
Be ready to go.
Now, yep. Yep, that's very true. Just this year now being the skip and the broom holder of our competitive team, I am amazed at the speed at which you tend to come out of the hack. I'll be like, yeah, the shot up there, and I'll put the broom down, look up, and you're already coming at me. It's kind of amazing, I got to tell you.
You play on the clock enough, you know where you can save time.
Exactly, and that's definitely one place where you can save time. Now with Grattan guarding their stone in the rings, looks like Campbell is having Paige Peterson just come around that corner guard they just threw. Super's going hard. This is not going to get by, I don't think. Chaps off, rolls back to the middle. Just rubs off the guards. Trying to make the come around. Couldn't quite get there. Spins into the 12-foot, but possibly have left a double here for Jared Kiesling. It's a little thinner than you would think. You're only hitting, say, a third at the most to make this good. You have to push that shot stone all the way across the rings to make it. Get the one but roll in front of the Grattan stone, so not a bad result. Just looking for the come around everything. To just get it by, that's some good sweeping there. Good sweeping there by Andy McCann. Get that by.
Campbell hoping to open things up here a little.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit congested in the middle. It's going to be tough for them to make things happen with this current setup. So asking Jared to get rid of the guard. Be nice to catch something in the house too. Just make some more space. Good shot.
Yeah.
Rolls and lines up the center guards, pushes their own in front of the Grattan stone. So good, really good outcome on that. I saw James motion for a heavy draw on this one. Might just be going right through the hole. Trying to chap off that red, push it over. Just pushes that red to an even better freeze than it was.
Yeah, I think you know, if you're Campbell, I think you make a play on it at this point. Too early.
I think you need to make a play on the top 12 stone. I don't think you want to mess with the frozen combo on the right just yet. You're only on your first stone. You got plenty of time to deal with that. But that top 12 stone is going to cause you problems. So I like dealing with that now.
Okay.
Not the best outcome on that.
No, it was a lighter weight than I was expecting.
Yeah, and just it didn't really curl very much. Just barely caught quarter of the rock, just pushed it over to the side. Grattan now sitting 2.
Yeah, it's tricky, right? Like, you're trying to not disrupt that freeze, but
yeah.
Now it's
was definitely looking better before the shot is the problem. Just didn't really work out what they wanted.
just by that red close to the house.
Seriously, again, really nice sweeping there.
Real nice. 2/3 buried. Top 8 biting top 4, and Grattan's now sitting 3.
Yeah, this is getting troublesome for Team Campbell.
However, is that red pretty loaded?
It's definitely loaded. Yeah. It's I don't know that. I can't conceive of any scenario where that red would just go right between and miss everything. But they're also in the way. Also. Yeah. So it's definitely worth taking a rip at this. Again, just trying to make some room. Bernstein looking for a comeback of some kind. This is, oh boy. Uh-oh. Yikes. Definitely not the result he was looking for there. Didn't want to miss everything. That was actually kind of hard to do. Still go right through the hole and miss
Yeah.
everything there. Still sitting 3. Grattan looking to keep the pressure on. Trying to freeze right on that stone that's on the center line, just biting top 4. Needs to move a little bit. This might actually go through there. Almost goes through there, not quite. The way this is lined up,
You might get all 4.
you can, I think,
at least move them.
You can definitely get them moving. I don't
Yeah.
know that you're actually losing them. I don't think the one you're hitting is going all that far. I think it's going to stuff on the yellow on the right there.
And I think the yellow on the left might catch the other one and just spin.
Yeah, and then
But we'll find out.
Yeah, and then it's. I mean, you can very easily get rid of 2, possibly 3. 3's going to depend on the left one where it goes into the one on the side. But in any case, this is no question. This is the call. You just gotta make a little space for yourself. Just curl a bit. Did get everything moving.
Yeah.
Might possibly sitting second.
Yeah, it's tough to tell from the overhead angle here.
Yeah. Couldn't get a whole lot more out of that shot. So good effort. See how Grattan wants to play this. You could just eliminate that red top 8 foot. Guarantee a force. Looks like that's the play. This curl to avoid the back one.
Yeah.
Oh, just gets away with it.
I thought they had the curl they needed for a moment.
Yeah. But as it happens, manages to miss the jam, and I think Grattan's sitting 4. Darren left with a pressure-filled draw. Only needs to be full 8 foot, but has to be a little bit careful of the line. Negotiate his way between a port that is, plenty big enough, but it's one thing to be throwing this shot. Again, for a relatively newer curler and team of curlers, it's important that they have the mindset on a shot like this of not, I'm drawing against 4, I have to make this, none of that stuff. All I'm doing is I'm drawing the T line.
Yep.
That's the beginning and the end of the thought process.
No different than what you practice.
Absolutely. I'm drawing the 4 foot, I'm drawing the T line, that's it.
What do you need? I need a 390 or a 405 or whatever.
Yep. And then the sweepers place it there.
Yep. The stone itself doesn't know it's against 4.
Right.
The stone doesn't know who's throwing it.
Yep. It's
The
just
stone
there.
knows nothing. Yep.
This looks pretty good. Yeah, real nice. Real nice draw. Darren's showing some cool under pressure this game. That's really good to see. It's a nice draw there against 4. Picks up a single point. James Grattan will have the lead at 4-3 with the hammer going into the 6th end.
And we've seen him steal once before.
Yes.
So
Absolutely. It's not out of question.
And even a force here is good.
Yep.
Right? Now, if you're Grattan, you're thinking 2 or blank.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, even Grattan would be okay scoring 1 because then they're up 2 with only 2 ends left. But I think for Campbell, it's just about keeping the game close. You don't need to go crazy trying to steal 1 and end up giving up a bundle.
True.
Down 1 on the scoreboard without the hammer. Team Campbell looking to establish a guard. Well placed by Paige Peterson. This is the Grattan lead, Andy McCann. Just going to draw right around that.
This is totally random. Do you remember Tom McCann's shoes? Were they a thing out east?
I have no idea. It's not something I was ever familiar with.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, I don't know, it just popped into my head.
Oh, what is...
No, they were like slip-on shoes. They were white, kind of like a Vans style, but they were, the Tom McCann's.
Really?
Yeah.
That was the brand name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I got to look it up.
Fair enough.
Maybe one of the McCanns watching can fill us in.
Now, were these Tom McCann shoes an East Coast thing altogether? Were they just Eastern U.S. or Eastern?
That's what I don't know. I'm looking it up.
I mean, being a Maryland native myself, that's where I grew up. That's just not something I ever heard of. But I was also never up on the greatest trends, so it's possible.
I don't know if they were ever trendy.
Okay.
Okay, so different spelling. It was THOM, and then it was MCAN only. So it wasn't a double N. Brand of shoes. They were sold in Kmart and Sears stores. Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. In the 1960s, they had 1,400 stores nationwide.
Oh, Tom McCann did?
Yeah.
So, oh, wow, okay. Cannot say that's something I ever knew.
There we go. I remember having a pair as a kid.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely not me. Definitely not me. Another nice come around there from the McCann in this game, Andy McCann.
2 ends.
2 ends.
Not an heir to the shoe fortune.
I'm sure he's crushed about that. I was actually going to say, is there a fortune in the Tom McCann shoes? But I guess if there were 1,600 stores, there must have been somewhere.
Right? You would think at some point somebody did all right.
You would think, yeah, it must have been. Decent enough result there for Jared. Gets rid of 1, keeps the shooter around on the side. Grattan is content to just keep drawing around this. Andy McCann's third stone of the end.
And you did hear that right. Third stone.
Third stone. Oh, yeah. Team playing three-handed. A really good line again. It's a pretty nice touch there. Showing us how it's done.
Real nice. I even like the little bump, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Kind of little deeper, a little over, and yep.
There's really not a whole lot. Not a whole lot Darren can do with this. Having to try and play around these guards being down one without. But just really superior stone positioning so far from Team Grattan this end. Bernstein trying to make this curl. Can't afford to airball everything.
That's probably worst case scenario.
Yeah, that's
Just
worse than going by everything.
Yeah.
Ticking that way fully buried now, and there is nothing that's going to make that top one leave at the moment. You're going to stay aggressive. No reason not to. At this point, maybe smelling a little bit of blood in the water. First stone from the Grattan third player, Joel Kratz. Doesn't really finish to where they wanted. Would have liked that to vary a little bit more. So not bad where it is. Much as this is not the kind of shot you want to be playing when you don't have a hammer, I feel like this is probably the best call for now.
Yeah, right. Even if you just kind of jostle them around and try and create some real estate.
Yeah, because there is absolutely nothing right now. Contact with something here. That's definitely better than it was.
Absolutely. You know, you've got one full 8. It's kind of buried now, obviously. You know, James and Co. get to put another one up or bury another one or do what they want, but at least those other two are exposed at the moment.
Yes, you've got some kind of access on for the moment both sides.
You know, it's you say the word access. I was listening to a podcast the other day and they were talking about how in politics recently access was a hot button or a key word. Because it's so generic, it can kind of mean different things to different people. Access to me might mean, I can just walk in and go take a look at something.
Yeah.
Access to somebody else is, well, I should be able to drive my RV and park it there, right? Like, just, you know, but
sure.
So it's hard to find somebody who's against access.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of
absolutely
defining it.
Right. Like what does it actually mean?
Yeah.
Stops just top 8. Hard to tell if it's third or not. I would say just barely not, but it's not.
But I like the line.
Yeah. It's not.
Right?
It didn't really need to be third shot. Just at this point, it was all about where it was.
And there again, At the very top of the screen, you have one of those gators.
Yep.
That guard is biting everybody.
That guard is probably, what, a foot and a half over the hog line, perhaps? It's barely even a factor, yet it is a factor.
Yep. Okay, we have a comment from Allison Hawkins. Used to buy my boat shoes at Tom McCann and the Adirondacks as a kid.
Oh, there you go.
So,
there you go. Apparently, I spent my whole life living under a rock. Never heard of Tom McCann shoes. But I have now. Better late than never.
I don't think I've thought about it for 30 plus years.
Jeez. Just dated yourself a little bit there.
Ah.
Ugh, just barely got by that guard.
I think it rubbed it.
You think it actually grazed it on the way by?
I thought so, but it was
Tough
close, but good result.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if it didn't actually rub that, I think that guard probably exhaled and shrunk itself real quick so the guard stone could get by. So Grattan's sitting 2, but talking about how best to deal with this situation. They can't. Tough for them to remove really either Campbell stone that's in the top of the 8 foot there.
So I have a follow-up question for Allison with regards to her Tom McCann shoes real quick. She said she bought boat shoes there. Allison, did you also do much boating, or did you just wear the shoes?
That's a fair question. Fair question. Joel Kratz and James Grattan conferring a little bit on what to do here.
Given the scoreboard, I like this call.
Yeah, I think this is definitely the play. Try to squeeze by that guard, clear what they can to these Reds. Just like that. Actually, might lose all 3 of them. Nice little bonus there.
Yeah.
Conversation there. I wonder if maybe Andy was saying he had thought maybe he hit one of the rocks before impact or something. But play stands. Grattan sitting 2, much more open now. Campbell's first here in the 6th. Making some kind of play on shot rock.
Yeah, my assumption would probably be no more than back 4, back 8, maybe.
Just tap it back.
Tap it back, try and get onto it. Any more than that, you're not going to have the curl because of that high guard.
Yeah. They're really going to get to it.
And that was the danger of throwing too much weight.
Yeah, I mean, I guess at the same time, maybe they were just trying to eliminate one.
Yeah.
Looks like Grattan's first is going to go more or less under that very high center guard. Sit 2. You could possibly make an argument for maybe going under the corner instead of going to the other side of the rings and splitting the house. Leave Darren with a pretty tough hit and roll shot to try and cut the end down. Just settles full top forward. See some really good draws from the Grattan right there. Up and down the lineup. They're all making some, showing a lot of really good touch. It's pretty much dead under the center. So now Darren Campbell with his last. Looking to make a hit and roll off his second shot. If he could ever roll straight, just straight to the right and try and sit on the button directly behind that Grattan stone. That would be the best case scenario.
I'm curious to see what kind of weight he throws at this compared to some of the other hits that we've seen and we've talked about. Just the tendency being a little up on some of the calls.
Yes. I mean, you can make this with really any weight you want. It all depends on where you hit it. I mean,
Going back to tolerance.
Right, exactly. I mean, you need to throw the appropriate weight for what you're trying to do, and for a roll of really just a couple of feet here, you don't want to be throwing a bunch of weight.
And sweeping for curl.
This is finishing hard. It might be close. Oh, look at this.
What a dandy.
Oh, he actually over-curled it.
Yeah.
Oh. That was a ways out there. Jared the He-Man showing his sweep for curl abilities. Actually made it a little too good.
You know, we had a coach for a while, Wally, always used to tell us, there's money in rolls.
That sounds good. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Like the common golf saying, drive for show, putt for dough.
Yep.
It's the little stuff. Yeah, so close to perfect, but just that little bit too thin. And Grattan can see most of, if not all of, this stone from the hack. Doesn't need to move it very far. Basically, you just move this a couple of feet and you'll pick up 2. Does make the hit. Will it stick for 2 though? Oh,
Oof.
Rolls. Oh, almost corkscrews back in.
Yeah, that would have been
kind of dirty. Just a single point there, James Grattan. Darren Campbell doing what he can to keep this game close. It's a 5-3 Grattan lead after 6 ends, and Campbell will have the hammer only down 2.
And coming up, taking a live look around the sheets.
Yeah, so John Schuster maintaining a lead over Jaden King, now up 8-4 after 5 ends. The Kaltoff-Camo game, Kaltoff leading 4-1 only in the 5th end. Maybe playing that game a little bit slow, it seems like. Or maybe our game
Delayed posting, yeah.
Delayed posting. Maybe our game's just fast, who's to say. And John Epping has a 5-2 lead over Ethan Sampson playing the 6th end. That's a shot that Page is definitely going to want back. Trying to throw the corner guard, just slips into the rings. Eddie McCann with a nice hit and roll to linger on the side of the 12-foot.
Yeah, and 7th end with Hammer, you got to kind of put your chips in the middle, right? You got to keep putting this guard up and, figure out how you're going to deal with the stones in the house at the end.
Yeah, that's a later problem. Guard has to be established. You got to give yourself a fighting chance for 2 here. Better weight, no mistake from Page on this one. Drops it right on top of Eddie's head.
Yep.
Third stone of this 7th end. Just looking for the guard. Nicely done. Just about fully covers that centerline yellow stone. Kiesling's first shot. 7th end looking to tap the Grattan shot stone back some. Not necessarily trying to remove it, but just get it out from behind cover. You have to go to get by here. Took the guard open, but not a bad result at all. Joel Kratz's first stone of this end is another center guard.
Yeah, real nice line and weight on that. Darren electing now to come around versus open it up.
Yeah. It is pretty crowded up there. I mean, you can. These shots are trickier than you think. And even if made, still going to be some work to do. be wrong to just open up the center. So Jared may have found this port. Yeah, he's through. There's the tap back.
But then I think that was kind of the problem with that is you're never tapping it back far enough.
Right. I mean, it's a good result for what was called, but at the same time, it's like, all right, well, what do they, what do they do now? Like,
yeah.
They're going to have to find that port again, play the red onto the yellow for it to be worth anything, and I'd be willing to bet James is not going to let them do that. Looks like with this ice, he might actually be trying to come through and kill that red.
Yeah, that's certainly what I was thinking and looking at there. Right, it's.
Where if you're going to wreck on one, which one would you rather wreck on? He would rather wreck on the corner guard, but if you're going to make it, might as well go right through and make the perfect shot, just like that. Heck of a shot there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now if you're Campbell, now what do you do?
Right.
You're in some trouble here.
That's where I think if you'd opened it up on the last one.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, going through the port and making that tap, it's all well and good, but we just said not really sure what it gets you. And you got to imagine that a team at this level is probably going to be able to find that port more often than not. One of Russ Howard's favorite sayings is always, it's not what you make, it's what you leave.
Yep.
What are you leaving? Will you leave them that kind of shot for a player at this team at this level is not that hard? And what have they left you? They haven't left you with anything.
One of my favorite things from years ago when I was learning curling more so, not that you ever fully learn it, but was asking ourselves, what would Russ Howard do?
There you
right?
go.
And
Sure.
we haven't looked at it from the perspective of, in the commentator's booth, what's he saying?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, there's two shots, you can play this one or that one. Which one does your opponent not want you to play?
Right.
That's the one to play.
Yep.
And
well, how about this little shot?
Yeah.
That's some pretty fancy stuff there from Josh Bernstein. Gets through, just about makes a double, rolls sunk under those corner guards. It's only second shot, but man, really can't ask for much more than that. Because neither one of these teams is really in the mood to peel. They're just saying, no, we'll just go through the port every time.
Yeah.
We'll go through the port 9 times in a row.
Well, makes sense for all the guys from New Brunswick coming to port.
Really?
It's a maritime reference.
Okay. Another draw right through the port, right to the top of the 4-foot.
That is.
Sheesh.
But again, as nice as those last couple of shots from Team Campbell have been,
There's still a center guard to deal with.
Exactly.
And that it will never not cause problems for them.
Correct.
Not sure what Darren's trying to do here. Is he trying to come through the port on the other side?
Yes.
That looks much, much tighter. This looks way harder than the other side.
Having said that, you hit either one of them and open it up a little.
Yeah.
That's really what we've been kind of advocating.
Well, it comes off of that one. See if maybe it catches the rings. No, it's not going to stay. So not the worst. It's a pretty low percentage shot trying to get through that particular port. Grattan sitting 2. Without hammer in this 7th, then probably just going to loop another one around that center. Try and sit 3.
And that is
Oof. That's bloody.
pretty good.
That's pretty good, yep. I don't see any scenario in which that redstone at Campbell's on the side of the 12 is ever going to go on the scoreboard now. It's going to be a push for them just to get 1 at this point. I know we've kind of beaten it to death this end a little bit, but once again, what's the stone that's causing them that headache?
The high center guard that they've not chosen to remove on the last 3 or 4 shots.
Yup, and it is causing them all kinds of grief. This is another one of those scenarios where you're so focused and tunnel visioned on trying desperately to get 2, you end up not leaving yourself a reasonable shot just to get 1.
Yeah.
And and that's the kind of thing that honestly you're only going to learn with experience. That's just and that's what this Campbell team is here for. They're here for the experience to learn this, the level at which the game can be played at, and that's just not something they're ever going to think about until they get beat over the head with it.
Until it bites them.
Right? Exactly.
Yep.
Totally sure what the plan is here. I think he was talking about trying to move these yellows back a little bit. It's going to be tough to sit better than even 3rd shot with this, but I don't really know what else you do. This curl, this needs to turn and do something. Oh boy.
Yeah, they're not careful here. This could go from, getting forced or giving up a steal of 1 to handshakes and
in a big hurry.
The scoring zone's already been shrunk pretty good.
Yeah. The lesson I probably would take away from this end for these guys is at some point during the end, and I think I've even talked to them at various times about at what point during then do you need to change gears?
Yep.
Do you need to get away from the idea of we have to get 2? I mean, obviously you want to get 2. Everybody wants to get 2. Sometimes it just doesn't work out that way, and then you got to change gears and think, all right, we need to simplify. How do we set it so that we can just make sure we have a shot to score? Let's make sure we score at least 1. Don't let this get out of control. Fortunately, that probably a little past that point now, and he'll still have a draw to the side of the button to score 1, but that's certainly not a gimme.
Well, and it's also, that wasn't the plan the entire end, right? So now you're having to adjust.
Yep. Bail point. That's the phrase I was trying to think of. At what point do you recognize we have to bail?
And I know for a lot of teams now with the 5 rock rule and stuff changing, that bail point is actually shifted up more to the second stone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Needs a piece of the button to score 1. Even if you get this just to a piece of the forefoot and cut Grattan down to 1, that's not the worst. you're still going to be down 3 in the last end, but be better than down 5 or 6. Gotta go hard for the line.
Yeah.
This is curling like crazy.
And that guard was perfectly placed.
Jeez. I don't think this is going to get in there for... Nope. That looks like a...
Steal of 3.
Looks like a steal of 3 for Grattan. That's going to make the score 8-3 in favor of Grattan. And down 5, 1 end left. We'll see if Campbell even decides to play this last
Looks like
end.
they're huddling up for the potential handshake talk.
Yeah. It looks like that'll be it.
Yep.
So James Grattan does what they need to do. They pick up the win, and we'll finish pool play at 3-2. And they're just going to have to see how the other games go. See what happens in the playoffs. Darren Campbell, our resident Coyotes 5 and under team, doesn't come away with a win from this event, but no doubt a ton of valuable experience serve them well in the future. And that'll wrap up our broadcast from this draw. Once again, for Eric Cole,
Thank you.
this is Sean Murray signing off from the Coyotes Curling Club. Next draw will be at 5 p.m. Mountain Time from the Ed Werenich Golden Wrench Curling Classic, Coyotes Curling Club, Tempe, Arizona. Thanks for listening, everybody.